Today we are going to study a new urban land use model, urban land use economic model, which is called the circuit model. And this was given by David Harvey. David Harvey was the proponent of this, and this model was given in 1983. The previous model that we had seen, it was the other urban economic base theory, and this one is the circuit model. So, David Harvey's objective was to understand urbanization through the lens of capitalism. So, all of us knows what is the meaning of capitalism. So, over here, there are two main themes. As you are seeing, one is accumulation and the other one is class struggle. So, these are the two important themes of capitalism. When we speak about capitalism, it is accumulation of wealth, and then there is always a class struggle in capitalism. There are two types of society: the capitalist society, the socialist society. So in a capitalist society, there is always a class struggle between various classes, maybe the rich and the poor. Generally, it is between the rich and the poor, or the entrepreneurs and the laborers. So he wanted to study urbanization through the lens of capitalism, which has got three important themes, that is accumulation and class struggle. And both of this, accumulation and class struggle, since they are very much common to capitalism, so he says that both of these are the two sides of the same coin. It is almost the same, accumulation and capitalism. So the capitalist, what is the goal of the capitalist? His goal, the capitalist goal, is to accumulation or accumulate more capital. And Harvey, because that is what capitalist does. So their main aim is to accumulate, is to hoard more capital through various ways. So he explains this through this, the law of accumulation. So what does the law of accumulation say? It says that one form of capital is reinvested into another form of capital, which allows the capitalist to accumulate more capital. You can see any sort of entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs, they don't stop at after they manufacture some good, they get a profit. They don't stop there. With the profit, they reinvest a part of that profit for more raw materials, and through that they want to gain more capital. So this is the law of accumulation, where one form of capital is reinvested into another form of capital. And this increasing capital, it depends on what? It depends on creating surplus. So then comes the class struggle. How this class struggle occurs? Now, when surplus is created, so this surplus can be created in two ways. The capitalist main aim is to get more capital, more profit. In doing so, what they do? They get profit, they reinvest that profit, and while they reinvest the profit, they can reinvest that thing in two ways. That is either increasing. So while they do that, what happens? This class struggle happens. How class struggle happens? They either increase the work day, the hours of the work day, because when the hours of the work day is increased, when more time is, the laborers are forced to give in more time. So what happens to get the work done? So there is more product means more profit. Or they can do this by reorganizing the process. Reorganizing the process means what? Maybe by upgrading the machinery. When they upgrade the machinery, then again what happens? The workers and the work becomes much more productive. And when both of them becomes productive, then there is more profit. So like this, the capitalist creates surplus. And in doing so, what happens? There is competition, and this leads to exploitation of workers. So the capitalist, since their main goal is exploit profit, so they do that through exploitation of the workers. And by the ways that I have told you, that is too important, either by increasing the workday or increasing the capacity or the quality of the machinery, and in doing so they try to gather more product, and by trying to gather more product, what happens, they gain they gain more profit. Now there are three phases to this circulatory process of capital. Like you are seeing over here, the primary, the secondary, and the tertiary circuit of capital. What is the primary circuit? The primary circuit of capital, this reflects the basic economics of making a profit from industrial production. Now, how this is done? Firstly, industrialists must invest capital. If they don't invest capital, then obviously there can be no produce. So the industrialists must invest capital. How they invest it? They invest it through raw materials, through labors, through machines, tools. So various things, through these things they invest capital. Now, once that is done, then what happens when they invest capital? Then obviously they would want their goods to be sold. That is very much obvious. Now, if the good is sold, if the exchange value or the value, that is a selling price, in simply if the selling price is more than what they have invested, if the selling price is more than what the industrialist have invested, then it yields to profit. And obviously every capitalist, every entrepreneur, they will expect profit since they have invested. Now when they get profit, that means that is an excess value. This is an excess value. So when they get excess profit, so excess profit means what? Excess value. What they have invested, they are getting more. If they have invested 5, they are getting 10. So the excess, or if they have invested 5, they are getting 7. So the excess is how much? Excess is 3. So this excess value, industrialists, what they want, at this excess value, that is 3, so they will again reinvest this excess value. This reinvest the excess value in producing more product. So this is the primary circuit of capital. Through these 3 steps, the primary circuit of capital works. Now comes the secondary circuit of capital. So the secondary circuit of capital, so we have seen that the primary circuit of capital is got to do with the produce, with the product, with the raw material. So it has directly got to do with production, in short. So the primary has got to do with production. But the secondary circuit, it is not necessary that it is directly related to production. It is not directly related to production, but it is what it helps indirectly. It helps the production process indirectly. It is not directly related to production or to direct inputs, but nevertheless it helps the production process indirectly. How? Through these 2 things, the fixed capital assets and the consumption fund assets. Now what is this? The fixed capital assets, this forms the physical framework for production, or it forms the built environment of production. Now what is built environment of production? This means transportation facility. When they create various transportation facilities, when this capitalist or the industrialist, they create various transportation facility. Now if they don't create transportation facility, then what would happen? Then obviously their raw materials can't reach in time, or their finished goods cannot go back in time. So they require transportation facility and power generating facilities. Obviously if there is no power is the most basic thing, most basic requirement for any firm, for any industry, for any factory. But these are not directly, you can't say that the power is directly a raw material, But over here, the various things like coal may be a raw material, or for that matter, various kinds, there are various types of raw materials, but directly transportation is not a raw material. But then what it does over here, it is written, it aids, it helps the production process. So this is a fixed capital assets. So this is the built environment for production, because you need to build them. Now, the second is consumption. We all know what is consumption. So, the consumption fund assets. So, the consumption fund assets, this is also built environment for what? For consumption. This was the built environment for production, but this is the built environment for consumption. What kind of consumptions? Like, for examples, that is a fund which is invested in housing, schools, or various sidewalks. So when there are housing, when it is schools, so these are the various consumption, the various consumers, they undertake these things, they utilize these things for consumption. So like, for example, the housing and the schools, they are utilized by the workers for their personal requirement. But power transportation and power generating facilities are not required for personal requirement, but housing and schools are required for the personal requirements. Now we come to the, Harvey also identifies a third circuit, that is the tertiary circuit of capital. Now this involves investment that are useful to the long term health of the capitalist system, but it is removed from the direct production of commodities. Now what we have here, so it is not related to direct production, but it is some long-term health is in long-term health of the system. It is involved with the long-term health of the system. For example, what investment in scientific and technological capacity. So if you increase the scientific and technological capacity, then that won't directly have an impact on the production. But if you increase the scientific and technological capacity, then what would happen? New commodities can be developed. So when new commodities can be developed, when various discoveries can be made, various machineries can be made, so new commodities can be developed. For example, take the example of robots. Robots, when that was the how robots were developed, they did not get developed in a single day. First, countries like Japan, they invested a lot of money in their scientific and technological capacity. Then slowly, when they did so, then slowly there were various inventions and discoveries, and that led to the formation of robots. And now that robot is being used in their production process. So it is not directly, it is not utilized, but over the years it can be utilized. Or for example, if the mindset of the people increases scientifically or technologically, then what would happen? The quality of the labors will increase, or it will just be the skilled laborers, the or the unskilled laborers. The skilled laborers will also increase. For example, take the example of India. India is a major hub of IT industry. Why? Because the Indian government or the Indian education system had long since invested in the scientific and technological capacity. That is why we have very good IT centers, IT hub. We have almost all the major IT sectors in India. Or take the example of the various atomic research centers or the various research centers in India. So we get skilled people, skilled scientists from that. When we get skilled scientists, then what happens? Then we become self-reliant. We don't need to rely on other countries for that, for any kind of technology. So that is required for long-term health. Take the example of ISRO, take the example of Bhabha Atomic Research Center. So India is self-reliant on these things. Similarly, if we take the example, the second one is social expenditures. So when there will be expenditures in the social sector, social expenditures, then what would happen? So these social, that would increase the quality of the labor. Maybe the social expenditure is in the form of education or various funds that the government gives. So for example, in Northeast we have various, or throughout India we have the tribal students fund, ST students fund. So or like that example we have in India, the various funds related to this thing, girl children's education. So when the social expenditure, when government or the private sectors will invest in the social sectors, then what would happen? We would have, there would be an increase in the quality of labor. So for that we won't get directly, we won't get any input in the production system. But then slowly over the years, obviously when the level, when the quality of, when the mindset of the people would increase, when there would be a technological development, etc., then obviously the quality, when the quality of labor increases, then what would increase? Then obviously the production system would also increase. So take the example of Japan, take the example of Israel, the example of China. So because the quality has increased, so has increased the production system. Now this is the circuit diagram. Over here, as you are seeing, the fixed capitals that I have told you. So the fixed capital, so while through production, when it is going for fixed capital, so a part of it goes to the consumption capital, consumption fund. When a part of this goes to the consumption fund, then what happens? A part of this consumption fund, this is the primary sector, a part of it, it comes out through taxes that we give, and then the government produces through what the government invests in the various social sectors over here, the various social sectors. Then the government invests in the social sectors. So when they do, then the quantity and the quality of labor increases, the capacity of labor increases. And then this labor over here, then again that labor, the quality labor which increases, it again goes to production system. The labor again goes to the production system. While it, a part of this also does what? A part of this, this thing produce also comes here, that is a surplus also comes here, and the surplus money from the entrepreneurs, that is given to the circuit, that is again injected into the circuit to technology, science, etc. That is development of technology and science, that is the third sector. When science and technology is increased, that results to innovation, various types of innovation. When there is various types of innovation, then what happens? Again the production rises. When production rises, then what happens? Again this production, when it rises, I have already said that there will be surplus money by the capitalist. That surplus money is what? It is again reinvested. So like this the circuit runs. It is reinvested, a part of it becomes fixed capital, that is a secondary sector, secondary circuit. So a part of it goes to the fixed capital, a part of it goes to the consumption fund, then again a part of it comes back for consumption sector, a part of it comes again is invested by the government as taxes, a part of it is invested by the capitalist as the state capitalist for technology and function. So to private and public, through private and public partnership, this third sector runs through private partnership and public partnership. This third sector runs. So this is all about the circuit model. So this circuit model over here, this model, it shows the secondary sector how it is running, the tertiary sector how it is running, and ultimately technology and social expenditure, that is the two components of the tertiary sector, is run by public, that is state through taxes, and private, that is the surplus money of the capitalist, it is run through that. So this is the circuit model.